Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Devontae Colonel, here with you once again for another episode here at the Inspired Challenge Podcast. And today, you guys, we are going to have maybe one of our most top-notch expertise latent episodes that we've ever had on the show. The man today standing before us is a man of another caliber. All right. The do is on point. The fit is at the top of the charts. All colors coordinated, primed out, prepared in advance. You know, this was no accident. I say commonly that I like to dress down a little bit so that my guests can appear greater than myself. However, this man needed no help in it today. So what was I doing? I could have put on a collar, but let's go ahead and we're going to get past that a little bit. Sir, please tell the people your name real quick.
First, I just want to thank you for such a great introduction. That was amazing, man. That was amazing. But me, myself, I go by the name of Brad Dorvilus. Here in the flesh, thank you for having me. I'm a program manager at the University of Central Florida, but also I'm an entrepreneur and the founder of a nonprofit. And I just like to say that I'm community-based.
Awesome. Love it, brother. Love it. So you guys, real quick, let me go ahead and explain to you how I met Mr. Brad here. So it was a complete last-minute introduction. Literally, both of us were done with our networking events. We were each going to our car, and it was just something that I was like, go talk to that brother. Went up and talked to him. Turns out, during the event, he had ran into some people that said, man, there's this guy you got to talk to. And then also at the same time, they had told me separately, man, we were looking for you. We wanted to introduce you to someone, but you were busy doing these other networking things. So the fact that as each of us were getting into our vehicles, and there was that string that said, go talk to him, the meeting was so just predestined, I would say. And when we started talking, the things that we had that were at the height of what we wanted to do aligned so well. And we said, we have to plan out something, you know, God bless, he doggone set us up to where we were like, all right, let's do something right here. So the fact that we're sitting here right now, you guys, just know like one decision different or just like being like, I'm tired. And whatever comes after this would not have happened. So a shout out to God real quick for the Holy Spirit doing a little extra work that day. You know what I'm saying? Because your boy was tired. He was tired. He was hungry. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to go home. I had the wife with lunch that she was making. I should have been on the road already. But when God calls, you answer.
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
So now that I told you guys how exactly we met, I want to go ahead and jump straight into this man's story. Mm-hmm. So, Brad, set us up to understand where you grew up, what your environment was like, and how that crafted you into the man that you are today.
Sure.
But also, real quick, all right, go ahead, Brad.
So yeah, just starting on. So if most of our followers are from Orlando, if you're familiar with the Parramore area downtown, that's where I grew up at. I'm originally from Fort Pierce, Florida, but never spent any time there. That's just where I was born. Spent all of my time in Orlando, Florida, and like I said, it started in the Parramore area. Growing up, actually grew up very poor. We were homeless at a time. Those are some of my first memories. The homeless shelter off of Parramore, which would now be the soccer stadium.
Yeah.
Because they moved it. But yeah, so I grew up homeless at first, and then when we weren't homeless, we were migrating around Parramore, like I said, which is a low-income area in Orlando, Florida. I'm Haitian. Both of my parents are Haitian. So growing up around my time, it was not cool to be Haitian. So I literally, people would literally try to bully me just because I was Haitian. And at that time, it could be very intimidating. But I was one of those Haitians who couldn't hide that I was Haitian because my mom had a lime green minivan, and
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
she wore
They're
her
them colors, man.
she went outside to do the yard, and she wore her long skirt up over her top. Just culture things,
Yep.
things that's normal in my culture that is not necessarily normal here, but would make me stick out like a light bulb. So I couldn't really hide the fact that I was Haitian. Had no problem, but like I said, it was a lot of bullying or attempted bullying going on because of that. And grew up in like rough neighborhood, rough environment. I always been pretty book smart, but I believe my environment started to take a toll on me to where I started becoming a behavior or of somewhere. Like I said, from Pine Hills, but then moved to Parramore.
Oh, snap.
From Parramore, but then moved to Pine Hills.
Oh, snap.
So
Real quick, for some context for the audience, you guys. So Parramore is one spot, right? That is where you'll see like a homeless population, or you'll just see people that are just kind of hanging out and around. Pine Hills. Oh man, and there's a certain name that people have adopted. For those of y'all that watched the episode with Trevor, you understand what Pine Hills represents. So
Yes.
go ahead, my man.
yeah, so that name that he's saying that they refer to as Crime Hills. Like I said, that's from Parramore to Pine Hills. Similar demographics, but can tell you kind of how I became a part of my environment. Like I said, I was book smart, so I made great grades, but I was a behavior at home, and I could be a class clown at school. Led me to, I was a fighter or whatnot. Like I said, I was bullied growing up for being Haitian, so or attempted to bully me, so I started to fight back.
Yeah.
I was, so, like I said, becoming a part of my environment, fighting back, but I always had morals and things about me that I think kind of kept me from straying too far away. Like, for instance, I grew up, I have a sister who's special. She has autism. So I got a special place in my heart for what I like to call special people. Right. And with that being said, part of just going off of me talking about being bullied, I kind of became the bully's bully because I started defending myself, and then I didn't like if you bothered someone for no reason, just like they bothered me just for being Haitian. So if that person was special or poor or anything like that, and I seen you bother them, I would kind of just go stick up for them, sticking my nose in people's business that I had no. But I just, like I said, my morals wouldn't allow me to just let it slide, just to let it go.
And just real quick before we continue down your story, I am curious, like, where do those morals come from, and when did they start to really develop to a place where instead of it just being in your heart, now you're taking action on it?
What I feel like, so my mom passed about 2.5 years ago, but
From today or in that time?
From today, about 2.5 years ago. But my mom she is the Christian of the Christians. I remember one time I said, my mom, I said, dang, mommy, you go to church every day. And she said, no, I don't. I don't go on Mondays or whatnot. So that just kind of tells you how my mom was and kind of what she instilled in us. So I'm one of those people. I love my mom. I think I had the best mom. I don't think it's about like the materials, having the money. It's about what she instilled in us. Right. Very strong. Didn't have any father figures around, so she kind of had to play both roles. She can't show me how to be a man, but she wanted to have more of a, I guess more of a strong type of personality, because she knew that she had 5 boys and she needed to be strong for them. So I honestly feel like that sense of morals, God, all that was instilled early on as a child from my mom. because, like I said, like
6 days a week.
six 6 days a week, she's there.
All right. And then, so you would start to be the bullies of the people that were bullying any type of other demographic people.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, it could be looked at as a good thing and a bad thing. But I just want to be honest. That's kind of what happened. I just, like I said, I couldn't stand for it. I mean, and for the most part, it played pretty well because people would know, oh yeah, don't do that in front of him. He's not going to allow you to do that. But like I said, sometimes, just I would make that person sad, or I would, do something. And so just coming back full circle, I still don't feel great about that. But
Right.
I was happy to save whoever was being bothered or bullied.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, that's crazy, especially I mean, when did that start? Like middle school, high schoolish?
Probably middle school. I'm thinking, I'm like, almost, it could have been elementary.
What?
Because my sister's older than me. And so growing up in Parramore, I didn't go to school with the kids in the area because my sister's special. So a bus came in, so it bused us there. And I spent a lot of time with her and her classmates. So I'm very much so sensitive to people like that. Anyone who's on the spectrum, autism, things of that nature. I'm very sensitive to that. Early on, I used to go to Special Olympics. My sister is extremely athletic, to the point where she would, at the Special Olympics, a lot of people would be mad because they would say, what she's doing here or whatnot, because they would think she's not special until you have a conversation with her.
Yeah.
But she was extremely athletic. So spent a lot of time around people on the spectrum. And I mean, I love them, and I'll defend them to the death of me. It's just, I don't know. It's just something in me that I'm like, you shouldn't bother someone like that. And I feel like once you really start talking to them, they have a lot more things to offer than you realize. It's not just about like the mental capacity, the mental conversation. Like there are other things that they are extremely good in. So for instance, in high school, I was a part of a program called the Best Buddies. So with the Best Buddies, we would go into the classes of people on the spectrum, and we would work when we would basically become friends with them.
Right.
And I promise you, there was one kid in that class who was so good at chess or checkers to the point that me and the other people in Best Buddies who weren't on the spectrum, we would literally team up to go against him.
Oh, dang.
And so that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, well, you think just because he can't have, his social skills aren't there, he can't have the best conversation, you will think that, oh, it's like, but no, they're a genius in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
You just have to find what it is.
That's I have a buddy of mine who, there was like a whole bunch of us who were around the same age group, started in electrical in all the same capacity. And out of all the guys, he was the youngest of us, but he was the first one to get his license in the trade of it.
Wow.
Above, like ahead of everybody else. And some of the other guys that were in that, they had been in it for a year or two, but he just put his head down, did all the overtime, got the hours quicker than everybody else, never took vacation time off for it, nothing. And so he got his license in it just at the start of the year.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, dude is ahead. But a lot of people would say, something's different about him, But at this point, we've just come to realize, like, oh, shoot, yeah, he's a little bit more quiet, but, man, his talent's hit like no other.
Exactly. I always tell people Albert Einstein couldn't tie his shoes. So
For real?
Yeah. So
Oh, snap.
So
I didn't know that.
People don't realize, like, he was definitely on the spectrum, but he was a genius.
Wow.
So like I said, I just don't believe in picking on someone just because they're different from you. No matter what it is, their skin color, their brain capacity, their monetary value, whatever it is, I just don't believe, because I feel like everyone has something to offer. And we're all human, love everyone, and I'm pretty sure talking to anyone, you can find something you can relate to with them, and you'll start to like them. So, I mean, it's just about being open, an open individual, and wanting to learn about people, learn their experiences. That process never gets old to me.
Absolutely. We're the same in that way. So continue walking us down your development here.
Sure. So yeah. So as I said, coming from Parramore, now I'm in Pine Hills. I think once I got to Pine Hills, my environment started to take more of a toll on me. As I mentioned, when I was in Parramore, my sister are still on the spectrum, and so I was used to be bused to her school. But once we moved to Pine Hills, that was no longer a part of the equation. So now I'm going to the same schools as the kids in my neighborhood, and so now my behavior is starting to turn more rapidly. Because at first with me, it was like, okay, you act at school one way and you act at home, you can act differently.
Right.
But once I started going to school with the kids in my neighborhood, it was like, whoa, y'all do the same thing y'all do at home on campus or whatnot. It's like it's no in between. And like I said, I've always had honors classes and things that I've always been book smart, but I was known as a class clown, could become a behavior, and I was a fighter, definitely a fighter, to the point that by the time I got to the 12th grade, actually February of my 12th year here in Orlando, May is when we, in high school is when you would graduate. By February of my 12th grade year, they decided to give me the boot.
Really?
Yes, they decided to kick me out of school.
So but February as a senior?
As a senior.
They gave you the boot
They gave me the boot.
What was it that happened as a senior that they were like, all right, now that you're at the end, instead of just graduating you, we're gonna.
So it's a funny story that, to be honest, I don't have the exact answer to that.
What?
But I have a theory.
Okay.
I was 18. And by the time that you're 18, you can legally take yourself out of school. And they looked at me as a leader, but a bad influencer.
Yeah.
And because needless to say, after I got kicked out, a series of people got kicked out, but they went for the head of the snake, I guess, first. And literally, it was one day I showed up to class, and my teacher says, "Hey, Brad, come to my desk." I'm like, "Hey." She's like, "Hey, go up to the front office. For some reason, your name isn't on the roll." She gives me a pass. I go to the front office. When I get to the front office, they say, "Hold on first." They have me sitting there for like 5-10 minutes. And then I see the deputy come to the front office. And around that time, I started to realize what time it was. And so then they pulled me in the office, and they literally said to me, "All right, go home and don't come back without a guardian," or whatnot. And I'm like, "I don't understand." And they just repeated the same thing. Don't come back without a guardian. I looked up at Dep, and he's like, "Yeah, Brad, just go and don't come back without a guardian." I was like, "Okay, when he says it, I'll respect it," or whatnot. And I left. I came back. When I came back, they're like, "All right, here's the alternatives that you can do." It was just that simple. I was like, wow, like
that's crazy.
It was like, here's the alternatives you can do. But hey, that's all a part of my story.
Was this beginning of the year, like halfway through? How far in?
No, like I said, it was February. So
February,
I
right.
graduated, so 3 more months, I could have been walking across the stage. Funny story is, during graduation, I came to graduation, even though I didn't graduate.
Right.
And my family all went to Evans High School, which is in Pine Hills, Maynard Evans High School, go Trojans. And so all of us everyone has cap and gowns from when they graduated. So when we went out to graduation, after graduation, I said, "Hey," my sister brought hers with her. I said, "Hey, give me your cap and gown," or whatnot. So I threw the cap and gown on. So I'm in some people's yearbooks and things of that nature. When I tell people I didn't graduate, they're like, "No, bro, you took a picture with me." And I'm like, "Look at my shoes. Look at my shoes. Notice I didn't have on a collar shirt. Notice I didn't have on dress shoes. I came in plain clothes, and then I put that on, and no one realized because I had been going to school with them for 4 years or whatnot. So I still got to kind of enjoy it in some way, shape, or form, but I didn't necessarily get to walk across the stage. So that's
that in the entrepreneur world, we call that a creative spirit right there. A problem solver.
Yeah, that's a funny story. But yeah, that around that time, that was a part of big transition in my life. Big transition. Because 18, kicked out of school, got to make some decisions or whatnot. Single mom. My mom, as I mentioned before, she had seven kids, 5 boys, 2 girls, 7 kids. So,
and where did you fall in that lineup?
I'm 6th of 7.
Okay.
And interestingly, the first 6 of us are almost like ladder kids, like year after year. And until it gets to my younger brother, he's like 5-6 years younger than me. So I was the baby for a while. He came and spoiled that. That might explain a little bit of my personality, but it's okay. I used to beat him up, so
made him stronger, right? Hey.
But yeah, that was a big part of transition. As I always said, I was book smart. So it's nothing for me to make good grades, pick up a book, and be able to figure things out. So I immediately got myself together and went to Daytona Community College and took my GED test, which I passed. It was so easy with flying colors because at that point I knew I had to make a decision.
Right.
And it was, if I stay here, I can already see what the environment has done to me and where it's been leading me. Or I can leave this environment and get some exposure to a different life, a different world.
Yeah.
And hopefully change my way of thinking. Luckily, my brother had a group of friends. They were all in the band in scholarly, and they all had gotten scholarships, and they were going off to FAMU. So it gave me the opportunity. I couldn't go to FAMU, of course, because I didn't have a high school diploma. But I could start at Tallahassee Community College, and I would have a community of friends already who was there. And these guys were disciplined and trying to make their life better. It wasn't the same group that I was hanging with back home. And so I said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go. I could have went to Valencia College here in Orlando,
right?
Which is a very prestigious community college, which I realized. But like I said, it was still kept me in the same environment, and so I don't regret my decision at all. I went off to Tallahassee and had to grow up immediately, but like I said,
I want to continue with this, but I wanted to ask something here now that I just thought about it. So with you being the 6th in line and you guys being ladders, that means that as you were even a freshman, you had 3 siblings above you in school?
No. So the age goes 82, 83, 84, 85, 87, 88. So we skip 86. And then my youngest brother is 93, I think. 93. So because of so even though we're back to back in years, the way our ages are set up, some of us are not back to back. So for instance, my sister's born in 87 and I'm born in 88.
Right.
But my sister is 2 school years ahead of me. So she was the class of 05 and I was the class of 07.
Gotcha.
However, everyone else was back to back to back. All of them were in years. So with me being that I went to Evans has a 9th grade center. So when you go to 9th grade, you're only going to be with 9th graders.
Oh, snap.
So I had an older brother who was in the 12th grade and a sister who was in the 11th grade.
Gotcha.
And so by the time I got to the main campus in 10th grade, I just had my sister with me. So majority of the times when I was in school growing up, I would have 1 or 2 siblings there with me, but majority of the time it was 1 sibling.
Yeah.
After elementary, it was usually just 1 sibling.
Okay. Because I was curious about that because I know that was something that I have a similar number of siblings as well. I have 7 siblings, and I went to school with one of them on a regular basis. So if you guys were back to back, I'm like, wait a second, how'd you get into all these fights if you should have had brothers kicking your butt every time?
So interesting enough, so we don't all have the same dad. So I also have a lot of stepbrothers that are like, this is my sister's half brother, but not technically my brother because we don't have the same father. I had a stepbrother in the same age the same age as me, so we were in the same grade. So we were on campus, and not stopping me from fighting. They were helping me fight. So interesting enough that you bring that up. Like I said, we're Haitian though, and I feel like that when I mentioned that, just saying my age group growing up Haitian, we were picked on for being Haitian. So we all started to rally up and gather together and fight back. It wasn't just we want to be, bad. It's more of we tired of getting bullied. You picking on me because I'm wearing a dress shirt to school. My mom picked this outfit out for me. That's all I know. And so just things like that. We got tired of it, and we're fighting back. We're banding together and we're fighting back. If you Evans High School, home of the Zoes. If you don't know what a Zoe is, that's a Haitian. So you'll see Haitian flags everywhere. And I like to say I was a part of that group, that movement that helped make the Haitians cool. I believe in now in Orlando, Haitians are considered pretty cool. And like I said, I was a part of before we were cool or whatnot. So I went through the whole process. But like I said, knowing things like that just kind of will help you learn about me and why I do things or why I am the way that I am. So
absolutely. Awesome. And then I know I had cut you off from where were we? At your things started to shift, 12th grade. You had done your creative joining for the walk. And then what happened after that?
So like I said, I get my GED. I go off to Tallahassee. Now we're in Tallahassee. I got to man up. I have to learn how to be a man. And so my college experience was, by the time I was done with college, I could have been a doctor. And I spent about 7 years up there in Tallahassee. But at the same time, I wasn't going to school consistently. It was things I had to learn. Bills would come. So some semesters that I took off. But all in all, like I said, wouldn't change it because it just makes me who I am. Got to learn to enjoy that process because, like I said, that's where character comes. And so it was tough, but I buckled down. I got a degree in business administration. I went to Florida State first. Go Noles. But I went to Florida State for the wrong reasons. I was always been a Florida State fan. And so I just wanted to go to Florida State just to say that I went there and I can do this. But I graduated from Flagler College. They had a satellite campus at in Tallahassee where I was able to get my business administration degree. And then after that, it was like, okay, you got to come home and put some stuff to work.
Okay.
You got to put to work. And fortunately, I came home and didn't take me long to land a position as a dean, a behavior dean at an elementary school.
Wow. This was at what age now?
Now, mind you, I spent some extra years in college. So I'm probably around 25 around this time. Probably around 25. And yeah, I landed a job as a dean. And knowing what I've said before, me being in behavior and things of that nature, I spent a lot of time in the dean's office, but I believe experience is the best teacher. And with that being said, it made me extremely effective at being a dean, to the point that the elementary school that I worked at, when I got there, it was considered what they call a double F, so meaning failing the state's test multiple times. The district had taken over the school, so now you have not just regular teachers and things of that nature. You have the big wigs and stuff on campus weekly, making sure that school is being ran properly. If not, the school has a possibility to be shut down or even turned to more of like an alternative school or things of that nature because of the trajectory of where it's going. But like I said,
and quick question, what was that like? That's kind of a sharp pivot. You went from business degree to behavioral principal, was it? At the school?
Dean,
behavioral dean at the school. So how did you decide to make that little pivot there?
So when I was in school, my child's mom had started teaching. She's a pharmacist now, but during her time in school, she had started teaching for a while.
Okay.
And she kind of had shared with me that there's a kind of easy way to transition into becoming a teacher. You could get like a temporary. You'd have to take a test, get a temporary teaching certificate, and then you can start teaching. But they give you like a year or two to where you have to meet the prerequisites to actually become fully certified. It's not temporary anymore.
So is this as a substitute teacher or
No? You will be an official. You'll be an official teacher.
Okay.
But like I said, I went past teaching. I was dean or whatnot. And it was just something that I told myself, if I couldn't land something in business quick enough,
right,
this is an outlet that I can go to that for a single male will make a decent living until I was able to garner enough experience and things of that nature to move into like that business role.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I fell into that position as a dean. Proved to be extremely effective just because of my experience and my time growing up. To the point that, as I said, that school was what they consider a double F. It was the lowest scoring school in all of Orlando.
Wow.
And actually was the second lowest scoring school in all of Florida.
Holy smokes.
So that's what I was dealing with. And it was mainly because of the behaviors. Because once I was able to get the behaviors turned around, classroom management together, learning was able to take place. And within one school year, the grade changed to a B, from a double F to a B. But interestingly, shouts out there. But interestingly, it was only 5 percentage points away from an A. So we literally almost went from a double F to an A in one school year.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was amazing team, amazing principal. Big shouts out to Miss Talbot Irvin. I think it's Dr. Irvin now. I know she was taking her class, but if it is, let me put some respect on your name, Miss Irvin. Respect you to the utmost. But she built a great team to the point where anyone who was below her got moved up. All the assistant principals are principals now.
Man,
Miss Irvin is doing big things in Marion County now.
Okay,
she's a big wig over there. So I tremendous respect for her, love for her, admiration for her, and what she was able to do with our team and cultivate. What she was able to do, like I said, she was able to turn around. And mind you, at that time, she's what you call a master principal. So she was not only the principal of Rolling Hills, she was the principal of Orange Center Elementary as well at the same time. Like literally at the same time. So she would have to go back and forth to campuses and things, and she was still able to do that. And so, so with that being said, I spent about 3 years at OCPS. And with me doing that, I was starting to find my passion. I was feeling like I had a purpose when I was turning these kids around and helping them change their behaviors and get better grades. But I always have a saying. I said, there's no such thing as a bad kid. There's no such thing as a bad kid. I believe, I always say, show me their environment. Show me their parents.
Yeah.
And that'll give you all the answers to it. And so what has started to happen with me was I started doing a lot of parent-teacher conferences.
Okay.
But in reality, what I was trying to do was get the parents in so I could learn more about them, provide some counseling, and then hopefully connect them to resources that will help them better their future.
Yeah.
Where there's something that helps them maybe to pay for their rent, pay electricity, or something that can help them further their education or further their career. I would just try to connect them to things of that nature.
And that is what I was going to ask. So like, once you do know, okay, not the kid, the parent, talk to the parent. Okay, now you can formulate, okay, so this is what the kid is dealing with. What were those some of the most common things that you would set up with parents is, hey, come here, they'll help you with your rent. Come here, they'll help you with education. This is where you can go to get some credits. Like, what did you find to be the most common things?
So the things that I would connect them with things, but our main focus would be what was going on with their students on campus.
Okay.
So maybe giving them access to be in a program, like where we had extra services. We would have like Devro, who do like counseling and they would come on our campus and stuff, but I would get them connected with it. So now your kid on campus has a DevRel coach that comes and see them. And DevRel not only can be on campus, they can go to your home as well. So building a relationship. A lot of times with them though, they would want things like to get their rent paid, electricity paid, and things like that. But those are transactional things. I'm more relationships or things that's going to last longer. So
absolutely,
I would more try to guide them to things that would help change their path, not just take care of food for right now.
For sure.
Yeah, but those are the easy things, food pantries or connecting them to things that will help pay a bill, things. Those were the more things that the parents were interested in. But I was, like I said, as long as I was creating something more stable for them and creating a better environment for the kid, that's what I wanted to do. But
I think those are some really great tangible things because, I mean, as far as stressors go, like everybody knows food is going up like crazy nowadays. So if you can hit up a food pantry, especially if you're at a certain income level place, that can relieve. I mean, when these food pantries load you up with food, they're not just giving you a box of cereal and some bread. They're giving you enough food for anywhere from 2 weeks to a month that you can really parse out and make enough meals to last. And then if you have some type of counseling in the form of DevRel, as you're mentioning here, that's providing some type of outlet for whether it's the parents or the kids or the combination of them, now you're handling a literal like basal need in that food circumstance, and then you're handling a lot of that stress that might come on. So these are very tangible things that I think people can look at and be able to try to find resources on them. So I like that you touched on it there.
yeah, most definitely. But as I was saying, working with the students and then working with the parents, I was starting to find my purpose. So which kind of led me to the University of Central Florida. It was a position that opened up in the range of community engagement. And so I'm like, hey, I'm talking about these kids. And I'm saying, oh, their environment. What if I was able to work with the parents more closely?
Yeah.
And so get the parents together, and that would help set the kids up for a better future. And so that's kind of what made my transition over to UCF. When I originally got to UCF, I was what you call a jump start to success coach. And literal, what the name is, you want to give somebody a jump. You get what I'm saying? And that's, like I said, connecting them to the resources and the different things that will help them better their education and eventually their career. So with that being said, we were doing things, creating GED programs. Where I work at is in Parramore. It's a lot of English language learners, Haitians, Spanish speakers, things of that nature. So we created a ELL program, English language learning program for these individuals. We purchased laptops so they can work from home with. So we were doing a lot of interesting things to try to get them to help further their education, just so, like I said, they can further their career. From there, I started doing more community engagement, which is going out into the community, meeting different organizations, partners, individuals, basically stakeholders within the community, and finding ways that we can collab together for a collective impact. So it may be going to the local schools, and I might just be funding, they might be doing something for the parents, and I might fund the food. But it'll give me an opportunity to get in front of the parents and tell them that what we're working on, and try to get them to come over if they found it useful. But one of the most important things when you're doing this type of work, you got to understand when you're working with the hard to reach, they're in survival mode.
Yes, absolutely.
They're in survival mode. So before I can say to you, hey, you can go to school for free because you live in this area. Hey, I can connect you to this job. You have to find out what their needs are. You have to connect them to those resources that can help better their needs.
Take the boot off the throat first so they can breathe, and then they can actually look at the destination.
I like that. I like how you said that. I like that. But yeah, most definitely 100% what you said. That's what you have to do. Get them to stop trying. Get them out of survival mode and get them in what I call thrival mode or whatnot. So if you're able to address these things or majority of these things, then they'll be more open to what else you have to offer. You're building rapport with them. You're building relationship, trust.
Yeah.
And like I said, you help them get some sustainability. And so now it's like, hey, are you interested in this class, or are you interested in this trade, or are you interested in this career path? I mean, like I said, then they're more likely to open up to you and want to do those things.
And that's even a biblical principle too, because like in the book of James, it talks about how, you know, if a brother comes to you and he doesn't have food and he doesn't have warmth, you know, they're cold, and you just tell them, you know, we pray for you, the Spirit is with you, and then you send them off, is like, you know, your faith is worthless. But like, give them something to eat, give them something to clothe themselves. And then now that you handle that need, now you pray with them, now you encourage them. So like, you got to do something to service the people at a material level and an integral level, and then start to give them this more like profound thing to look at first. But they gotta not be stuck on just like, my basal flesh needs something.
Yeah, like almost like you give them the fish first, then you teach them how to fish. Yeah. Because if you're just saying, hey, let me teach you how to fish, you don't have proof. And they want that proof first. And they're starving, so they don't even have the strength to get out there and fish. So you give them a fish first, and then like, you want to learn how to catch it? And now they're like, well, you know what? You did. That was a nice fish.
That was a good size, you know?
You're believable now.
Good grouper.
Yeah. Most definitely. So, yeah. Like I said, I got more into community engagement, doing things within the community, whatever I can do, volunteering my time. And now it's kind of transitioned into what we call the College Dream Academy. We're awarded a grant, which I was so excited about because for the first time, I had the opportunity to work with both sides. So not just the kids or not just the parents. Now I'm able to work with the students and their parents.
Really?
Yeah, so the College Dream Academy is a program that we created to foster that college-going culture throughout the family.
Okay.
So everything that I talk about is a build-up because it goes back to my experience in my past or whatnot. So in my past, as I said, both my parents are Haitian. I didn't have a father growing up. My mom doesn't have a American education, so she couldn't even help me sign an application or do financial aid. So that whole process of me transitioning, going off to school, I did that myself or whatnot. I signed everything. I went up to Tallahassee, went to my orientations myself, things of that nature.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
Because I know even with help, there were still lots of things that I missed out on. So the fact you navigated that yourself, you must have had a lot of counselors and things like that were in your corner with it.
I was tapping into counselors. My sister-in-law, at the time she was dating my brother, and she's a couple of years old and she was already in college. So I was tapped into her to help me with financial aid. But yeah, you got to utilize those resources to kind of help you get to that next level. And I was book smart as well, so I would kind of read and learn how to navigate around things. But like I said, that kind of tells you why it took me 7 years rather than 4 years to get mine, because I don't have the support at home and I'm navigating everything myself. Wow. And so with me understanding this, it makes the College Dream Academy perfect. Yeah. Because now I'm able to do this. Now it's like, okay, these students are in school and they're getting ready to graduate. Their parents may not have a degree. They may be the first generation in their family to be going to college. So now it's like, okay, let's merge that. What we're going to do is we're going to have some workshops, some modules where we're going to come out to your schools, and we want you to bring your parents too, or your guardians, because coming from that demographic, the parents might not be their main guardians. It could be aunties, uncles, godparents, grandparents. You know, just how I grew up, I know that that's common. It's not necessarily their blood parent who's going to be their main guardian. So we don't limit it just to that, because we don't want to limit them. But you get your family to come. It could be a close family friend who's always there, but you get your family to come to these modules with you. We incentivize the modules by giving them $200 for each module. The modules are only 2 hours. Yeah. So, because we want to eliminate the excuse of parents saying, well, I have to work. It was like, well, do you get paid $100 an hour? because it's only 2 hours and we're gonna pay you 200 and we're gonna give
Yo,
you.
I gotta give that is some of the best way to incentivize learning material. Holy smokes. Because, I mean, and this is real quick going on a tangent. I definitely want you to come back to it. But man, like, I look at people that run in all these different offices and whatnot, and there's always talk about, oh, well, you can't just give people money. There needs to be this and that, or, oh, no, you need to give them money and then they can focus on it. But you have taken the best of both of these ideas and said, give them the money as they're learning it is the incentive and it's taking care of it. And like, just stop the bickering. Let's just pay them to learn.
Yeah,
I love that.
Because I have a saying, they say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I can't remember my professor's name back in college, but what they said to me, they're like, yeah, you can't make him drink unless you give him salty pretzels. And I said, excuse me? Or whatnot. So what she would do is she would want us to do good on our test. But she would want to incentivize us to study to do good on the test. So what she did was every day was a pop quiz.
Oh, snap.
Every day was a pop quiz. So it forced you to study information because the pop quiz wasn't too many questions. So if you missed one of those answers, it could hurt your grade. It could be detrimental. So you want to make sure that if it's only 3 questions, you miss one, that's a 67. You miss 2, you're only at a 33%. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It incentivized us to get the work done. And so, because if you get them salty pretzels, now they're thirsty. They have to drink something because they're thirsty. And so that's what we do. We incentivize you by, okay, here's the money. Not only do we give them $200 every module, we provide dinner. And it's just not like, oh, we just go to Publix and grab chicken. We'll go to Olive Garden. We'll go to Sonny's and do barbecue. We'll go to Tijuana's Flats, do a taco bar. So something real, like something that you would enjoy eating. And then,
man, I love how you've just brought all of these experiences from your past into how you're leading these programs.
Yeah.
Like, that is fire, man.
Most definitely. It's funny that you said that because I was at a workshop, not to change. So I was at a workshop yesterday, and one of the main things we talked about was Clifton strengths. So where, you do those tests where it kind of identifies what your best strengths are. Okay. And my number one strength was context. And they said with context, what I do is I look at the person's history to be able to help their future. Okay. So I learn about you, and that way it heightens my emotional intelligence about you. And now I'm able to navigate you more correctly just because I'm listening to your past, your traumas and things, and I start to understand how you think or why this may affect you in this way or might. And so it was real interesting to see, because as we talk about this now, I'm like, that is literally how I've been able to move through life and find my purpose. But yeah, most definitely, it's an exciting program that, like I said, that includes not only the student but their parents or guardians. We tackle things anywhere from how do you sign applications, how do you do financial aid, what are the questions that you should be asking when you get on campus. Just the simple things. We have these checklists that we have them go through. And then at the end, after all the modules, what we did with them was called a college tour, a Brightline college tour. Okay. So Brightline, if you're familiar with the Brightline, it's new to Orlando, opened up a couple years ago, but it's the train that goes from Orlando to Miami.
Yes, that was the project that me and some of my team were working on.
Oh, wow. Wow. See, full circle. Everything always comes back around. So with that being said, we funded the whole college tour. We bused them to the Brightline. From the Brightline, they took the Brightline down to Miami. Then when they got to Miami, they went to the University of Miami, FIU, FAU. And we were able to fund that. We gave them $200 gift cards to go down there as well, because we want them to buy college swag. We want them to be able to enjoy it. We believe exposure is everything. So a lot of people stay inside a box because they're not exposed to nothing. But if we get them out of Orlando, get them out of their environments, and get them exposed to what else is going on out here, it kind of makes them dream bigger or whatnot. And so I think that's what we're able to provide with the College Dream Academy, which I said I'm so excited about, because it speaks to me in so many ways just because of my experience and how I grew up. And so now that we're able to help these families and like I said, even if a parent hasn't been to college, now you know how to navigate FAFSA, or you know who to go to help your child navigate FAFSA, whether it's at the whether it's on a college campus or it's on the high school campus. You know who to go to. We bring in guest speakers that are experts in all these spaces. Like, for instance, when we spoke about financial aid, we brought in the financial aid director from UCF.
Oh, nice.
You know what I'm saying? So we want to bring them people who has that expert experience and going to give them the right information or whatnot. Just so, like I said, they're able to navigate the college experience better. Because what it shows is studies show that if you don't have that support when you're in college, you're most likely not going to sustain it. You're going to drop out.
Yeah.
So like me, like I said, semesters I took off. Only reason I didn't drop off, it goes back to my mom. That God-fearing woman put some fear in me. Like literally, it got to the point where I was like, I need to come home with a degree, because if I come back home, my mom's going, well, what were you doing there?
Man.
Like literally, I got my degree. That's why I'm in education, because I got my degree. I'm like, here, mom, this is for you. Like, this is for you. I did, because I didn't want to be a disappointment at all. But, but like I said, I think this program helps for them to sustain when they go off to college. And like I said, we gave them a tour, lets them see different college options, things of that nature. Not only that, now the award ceremony is getting to come up. We're going to be giving them scholarships around $12.50. I think we're giving them. We're giving them computers, and we're giving them some college swag, sweaters, things of that nature. So, like I said, we wanted just it to be a great experience, not just for the student, but for their families as well. And like I said, our hopes is just that it fosters that college-going culture throughout the family. We're giving the parents some tips and tricks that they can utilize to help support their students during that time. And like I said, filled their bellies and put a little money in their pocket as well. So hopefully, like I said, this is our first year doing the program, so the students have not yet left to go to college. But I'm so interested to hear how they're doing next year, checking back in, following up with them just to make sure that they're staying on point and that we did what we said we were going to do.
Man, so the biggest question that comes to mind immediately, and I'm sure for anybody that's going to listen to this back, is like, so what's the cost of this? Like, what does it take to get involved? Where's the money coming from to make this stuff happen?
So like I said, with this particular thing, this is UCF, so it's a grant-funded program. So it's something that we were awarded or whatnot. But like I said, being that it's a grant-funded program, the money doesn't go to us.
Yeah.
It's almost as if it's a nonprofit, and we're funding. So we got the grant, being that I'm from Orlando, I picked those, like, look, Jones, who goes to Jones? Students from Parramore. Evans, who goes to Evans? Students from Pine Hill. So as I said, everything comes back full circle with me or whatnot. I picked those schools on purpose because I know, okay, these are those demographics that deal with that a lot.
Yeah.
And if I can do anything to help them, hopefully we can expand in the future to different schools. But those are the schools that I want to start with, because in Orlando, majorly, you know, people know of those areas, and those are known to be hard to reach areas. And if it's anything I can do about helping the communities that I come from, that's what I want to do. That's what I'm all about.
Man, that's like that. That's like the exact tale of, like, you know, if somebody has an issue that they see in the police force, well, get some black men from the community, put them in the academy, and have them be the ones that are the sergeants and the people in charge of it. Well, if you want people to be able to get educations from underserviced areas, get somebody from those areas, put them in a position of power at a place that has resources, and then that person can start to feed some things there.
Exactly.
And you are an example of that exact concept being brought to life here. Man, I love that.
Thanks for that. But yeah, that's what I'm, like I said, starting off, like, as I said, I'm a community-based person. That's what I do. Like, I feel like I found my purpose. I'm introverted by nature, so I don't like to be, like, just being right here on the camera does stuff for me. Luckily, we don't have an audience sitting right out in front of us, you know. But I'm introverted by nature, so I'm always in my head. I'm to myself. But I like to tell people I'm an extroverted introvert, so I know how to turn on my extrovertness when need be. And I'm starting to realize, well, with my purpose, I'm going to have to turn that on to be more effective. So like I said, the more I feel like I get out there and I share my story, I connect to more like-minded people who we meet in purpose, and I'm all about collaboration for collective impact. Definitely. Right now, so just to transition real quick, right now, one of the big things I'm working on that I'm excited about is from those specific areas that I named, there's a special election for the commissioner seat of District 5. Unfortunately, that commissioner was suspended by Governor Ron DeSantis, and so now they're having a special election. They have 7 candidates who have been nominated for the position, and May 21st is that election.
Man, that's incredibly soon there.
Yeah, it's incredibly soon, and it's big for that community because that a commissioner is a public servant.
Right.
So they speak for the people of that community and the needs of that community and things of that nature. So it's very big. It's very big what's going on right now. And so being that I have an invested interest in that community, like I said, I grew up there, and not only I grew up there, now I work in that community. So I wanted to do something about it. Any way that I could. And so what I did was I partnered with the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition. Shout outs to FRC. Shout out to Marquise McKenzie, the Dirt Master. And what we did was we came together and collaborate to put on a forum for the candidates. So not a debate, because a lot of times when people hear forum, they think debate. But what we want to do is provide a platform for the candidates to be able to talk about their initiatives and what they plan to do in that role. But more importantly, what we want to do is provide information for the residents and the stakeholders in that district. And so they know who these candidates are. They're informed so they can vote on the right person. We want to be able to mobilize them.
Yeah.
Historically, that district has had low voter turnout. Like less than 10% of the registered voters in that area usually vote.
That's insanity. And 10% is controlling the face of all this development.
And so we feel that if we do our job by providing the information and then giving motivation, and we think it'll equal to participation or whatnot. And so that's what we're hoping to do. We're doing the forum May 6th at 6:30 at FAMU Law School. They've partnered with us and allowed us to use their esteemed campus, and we're so happy about that. And that's something I'm really excited about, just because I'm like, it's very big for that community.
For sure.
Like I said, these are the people who are going to be pushing the laws through and things of that nature, talking to the movers and shakers in your community. So it's important that you have a say-so in who that is. And I think by us collabing and doing that, it's providing that opportunity. FAMU Law School, it's in District 5. So it's a historically black university. District 5 has a lot of historically black communities within that area. And so I just feel like everything that we're doing comes back around tenfold. And I just want to encourage any listeners from Orlando, if you have any invested interest in that district, to please come out. We've just released the flyers, and links are online. Go ahead and RSVP. Seats will be limited. And so if you want to get your chance to hear from these candidates firsthand, I think it would be in your best interest to RSVP.
Absolutely. So when it comes to like the awareness that you think the community has right now, I know you said 10% participate. How much do you have any data to show, like, one, who is looking like the front runner of it, and two, what are some of the people's thoughts right now?
I don't have any data to show that at the moment. Like I said, everything's developed so fast, so it would be hard to know who the front runner. I'm in the community, so I've talked to a lot of people, so I hear people's name, but there's nothing written down to say who's the front runner. What I can say is that district has over 21,000 voters. In the last election, about 2,100 people voted.
Wow.
So that's showing you a big disparity. Like I said, and from my end, it's like whatever. I'm not endorsing any of the candidates. Just because I'm like everyone else. I'm trying to vet the candidates, and so that the people of the community can make the best decision. So with that being said, what we've collaborated, the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition are very much into politics and try to do things to help change what's going on in the community. They were big with the change in Amendment 4. The Amendment 4, where it allowed ex-felons to be able to vote once they did everything that they need to do. They were big in changing that law. And so they do a lot of things within the community to the point where just not last week, but I believe the week before, we were in District 5, going through the neighborhoods, going door to door, knocking on doors, and just giving out information about voting, not endorsing any candidates, but making the people in that district understand that, hey, you have a special election going on right now, and it's in your vested interest to pay attention to it and vote. We were giving out QR codes, so if you wasn't registered to vote, you can do it right there. But we just wanted to, like I said, inform the public so that they can be mobilized. Just whatever we can do to do our part and helping them make the best decision.
Can you kind of walk through some of how you go about vetting candidates and then how you go about verifying their authenticity towards the stances that they take?
So for me personally, it's all about meeting all of them, if possible, meeting all of them, having a talk with them, learning about them. As I said, I like to learn people, just talk about and learning what their ideas are for the community. But then, moreover than that, I believe experience is the best teacher. So then what's their track record? Checking behind and seeing what have they done for the community.
Yeah.
Excuse me. What have you done for the community?
How did they vote on certain things?
Yeah, how did you vote on certain things? What's your stance on this? And like I said, your experience speaks more. If you haven't been in the community, but now an election is up and now you're just saying, hey, I'm going to be in it's like, what? what? Like, we don't, why? What are you're not even doing it. So I think it's more just being authentic, vetting them if possible. Like I said, I like to, myself, when I meet someone, I'm always like, hey, nice to meet you. We have the quick talk, but then it's like, hey, can I get some of your time? Maybe we can go to lunch. And that's when I'm going to vet you. I'm going to really dig in and learn more about you. And then outside of that, I'm going to do my own research by looking you up. Outside of that, it's Orlando. If you're in Orlando, other people know you. So I need to know what other people are saying about you and things of that nature. So it's plenty of ways to vet. I vet a candidate the same way I'll vet a potential partner that I'm collaborating with. Just because if I'm collaborating with you to provide a certain service, I want to make sure that you can do your part. So I'm going to vet you so that I don't say, oh, I'm collaborating with these people, then we go over here to do this service and it's lackluster. So I'm going to vet anyone, but I'm like, this is a way for the community to vet them by going to the forum, asking questions. What we want to do is put out a survey and get questions from the community and stakeholders so that some of those questions can be asked at the forum. Because like I said, as much as I can, I want to be able to vet the candidates for the community. And I think that's what a forum is for.
Nice. No, man, I love it because it's, we see all the time people talking about, oh, we need initiatives to get more people politically involved and whatnot. And I mean, that's something with as far as these presidential elections, people always, become these experts with it. But then when it comes to that local level, you just see such inactive levels. And it's like, man, where's that same energy for these voting decisions that actually impact you? Like even when it comes to something like, for example, hot button trigger, here we go. Roe v. Wade, that wasn't something that was decided at the government level. That was something that Florida ended up making its push to. Even here's a funny little anecdote that I had an experience of recently. I was eating at a Tijuana Flats and I had a woman come up to me and she's like, do you know any women? And I'm like, huh?
That was the question?
That was the question. Do you know women? I'm like, how was I supposed to answer this? Like, so I just looked at her. She's like, do you have any friends or, is your mom, do you live with your mom? Or I'm like, huh? She's like, okay, well, there is this like women's march going on, and they want to protest against the voting bill for abortion, and you should tell all your female friends to come out. And I'm like, this is so bizarre. I'm trying to eat my nachos, and you're over here, dog.
For real, like I'm so far fetched.
And then she had me reading her shirt that was like, something about like Governor DeSantis is a DICK.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, oh, you had a lot of pride in that shirt. Wow, thank you for making me read that. And I was incredibly. I think I got harassed that day. I think it's fair to say I was harassed that day.
It does. It sounds like it. I would have been looking around like, where's the manager?
I thought I was getting pranked or something. Yeah. And I'm like, why out of all these 7 people, you walk up to the one black guy in here and you want to get me? You don't want to talk to the, Mr. Bernie sitting over there, like
him. Yeah, he's the one. He has women friends. Do you have a mom? Like,
and I'm telling you, it was some strange 57-year-old white woman wearing hippie clothes and this crazy shirt. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah,
right here?
And it's a shame they're so much more engaged to what's going on the like the government level.
Yeah.
Whereas they're not really paying attention to what's going on at the local level. And I'm like, that's what's really affecting you.
100%.
I don't, we have this presidential election going on that's coming on in November, but our election is in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And these are the people that you can actually reach out and touch. Like, no offense, I've never seen Joe Biden or Donald Trump in person.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And so that's something. These people are people that you can actually touch and talk to and can tell them your ideas and what you see changes that need in your community. So that's why I try to make emphasis on like, hey, this is very important to you all. Like, you guys don't realize that these people speak for you. They're public servants. They're working in your best interest. And so it's in your best interest to know who it is so you pick the right person. But not only that, know these people and be able to talk to them so you can get the laws changed that you need to change, get things done for your community that needs to be done. And so a local election for me is much more important.
Absolutely.
Than something going on a countrywide level. Not saying that that's not important, but you got to take care of home first.
Oh, yeah.
You got to take care of home first. So
and even scripture will tell us like, so before anything that a man is called to do outside, whether it's going out and preaching the gospel or, baptizing these people, blah, 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 it's like we're made to understand very clearly, like a man that doesn't take care of his home, doesn't take care of his wife, his family, all these things is worse than an unbeliever. So like a person that can't have their homestead on point, but they want to go out and do all these extracurricular things, like you got your priorities reversed. And you'll see that whether you're in the secular world or you're in the biblical world, that take care of what's close and around you in your backyard first before you start going out with your landscaping business trying to cut everybody else's yards.
I wish I could hit that for you. For real, man. You said something there for real, man.
And so when it comes to people being aware of these things, so the form that you're putting on is a great way to be able to see collectively all these different people, these different movers that are trying to hold a seat of power. Other places that people can go to be able to reach out and to actually make contact with these people. I know one place is something like a Chamber of Commerce type event.
Most definitely.
What is another way that local people would be able to physically go out and interact with some of these would-be representatives?
So because of the election, a lot of them are very much out in the community right now and being at different events. If you follow them on their social platforms, they'll tell you where they're at. Also, I mean, they're not commissioner yet, so a lot of them have profession. They have jobs to where you can look up where their jobs are and you can see where they are and what they're doing. So it's not really hard to what's in it. And lastly, because it's election season, all of them are having meet and greets. or whatnot, and they're likely to have more than one meet and greet.
Yeah.
And so if you really want to get to know these people, it's multiple ways to go. So, I've seen candidates posting them at schools, reading the kids, doing things in the community, different events. So it's so many ways that they can go see them. But I would say first off, know who the candidates are. So once you look them up, you're on their social, and then you can see where they're going to be. And I would say pay attention for their meet and greets. And like I said, for me, myself, I have all of them sitting right there for you, May 6th, 6:30 at FAMU College of Law. So, like I said, the easiest ways is to look them up and find out where they're going to be. But like I said, being that it's election season, they're having meet and greets, and they're in the community. So they want to hear from you. They want to see you. They want to talk to you. They want to tell you their plans. As much people that they can tell about their initiatives, it's the more opportunity for voters. So they want to. They open it with welcome arms. It's not one candidate who I've talked to who's against talking to people or seeing people, and that's why, like I said, all of them agreed to the forum. They want you to hear from them. They want you to know what they're about.
So can you give me a 3 to 5 step kind of walkthrough of, for your average, let's call it $35,000 to $45,000 earner in that area? What is step 1 through step 5 of beginning to understand who the candidates are to making contact?
Well, step 1 for me has nothing to do with the candidates, has everything to do with you. It'd be registered to vote. Register to vote. You know about the candidates for what if you're not voting?
True.
So step 1 would be register to vote. Step 2 is, I would say, to identify the candidates. My flyer that I have going around has all 7 candidates on there, or you can look up the local election and it'll show you the 7 candidates who are there. So step 2 would be to identify the candidates in their social platforms and things of that nature. And step 3 would be, after you identify them, find out where they're going to be. Is it meet and greet, or are they planning to be here in the community today? Are they planning to be at a forum? Because I'm not the only one putting on a forum as well. There'll be other forums that'll be going on before May 21st. So like I said, multiple opportunities to see them. Step 4 would be, once you've registered to vote, step 1. Step 2 would be, once you've identified the 7 candidates. Step 3 would be, once you, what I said step 3 was going to be step 3?
Meet and greets and those types of.
Find out their, where they're going to be through their social platforms. Step 4 would be to show up. Step 4 would be where they say they're going to be, show up. And then step 5 would be, don't be afraid to ask questions. If they're going to be representing you, ask the questions that you want to ask. And like I said, they don't mind asking these questions.
And with that in mind too, maybe also even like coming prepared with, these are the types of questions that I want to ask based off of actually going over the platform and seeing like, what can I ask about this? What do I not understand about this? And like kind of like a prep phase even to get into there. And you said you have a flyer that you all pass out. And that would be on a website that people could go to?
It's on social media. If my social media tags are on there, I posted this past weekend. So it's on all of my social media platforms except for TikTok at the moment.
Okay.
But from now till May 6th, we will definitely be advertising and posting it more. Anywhere where you find that flyer at, you'll see the link. So you can click on the link to RSVP. But yeah, like I said, on a local level, you can literally Google District 5 election and it will pull up and show you who the candidates are and everything. Let's literally go to Google. If you're in Orlando, you can say Orlando District 5 race, Orlando District 5 candidates, and it will literally pull up and show you each one. And from there, you can see what are their platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever they're promoting themselves on, you'll be able to find. And a lot of times, if they have a profession in public service, you can look up what they do as well and get more of a a background on them to see what are they about, what is their experience, things of that nature.
So you guys, just as a full recap here, the man Brad has resources. He has listings of who all the different candidates would be. Go to his platforms. He'll have social media saying, hey, this is where you go. These are the different candidates. From there, doggone, Google it up, see what the track record has looked like, and then follow his steps 1 through 5 and make sure that you are ready for these different meet and greets and things that are going to go on. So the man has laid it out for y'all from 1 through 5 and gave you the place to start at. So you ain't got no excuse. You know what I'm saying? At this point, you know, if your rents get increased because you didn't show up to vote on it, you know.
Oh.
So I know we're coming up at about 2 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and move us to the closing segments. I want to be respectful of your time here. So I want to now ask you, what are the absolute 3 things, whether it's from your personal experience to anything that you've covered here, or anything that you've learned recently that you want to impart onto the audience that they must take action on? 3 things.
3 things they must take action on. For one, and this, I don't even think we spoke on this today. Health. Health. Health is wealth. So what I mean by that is mind, body, and soul. So what you're digesting on a regular basis into your stomach, but not only that, what you're digesting into your mind, what you're taking in, meditating, and doing the different things that you need to do to make your soul correct. And then mind, you want to be making sure that you're doing the correct research and things, that you're putting the right information in your head. And last but not least is physically. You want to be healthy. You want to be going to the gym or staying active in some way, shape, or form. An object in motion stays in motion.
Absolutely.
And I start off with health because if you're not healthy, if you're not going to be able to put your best foot forward. Like we talked about, taking care of that house, your homestead. Your first homestead is this temple.
100%.
And so health is wealth. And so definitely that would be the first thing that I would start with. Secondly, I would say morals. Morals. You got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. I feel like we are, we spoke about this when we met.
Yes.
That we're in a world, we're in a microwave society, and we're in a world that's being programmed and controlled through social media and different things. And I feel like if you have morals, if you have that connection to God, you're going to stay on track. But if you don't have that, it's going to be easy to be swayed and go in any direction that the programming is telling you to go. And so, you want to have some type of moral compass, connection to God, to be able to have that belief and stay on point. And lastly, what's 3? I'm trying to stay away from things that we talk about. Just think personally, what's to me? Because I could easily say vote or whatnot. But 3 would be family. Family. What you do it for? You know, what you wake up for every day. What is it all about? If you're not doing it for generational wealth, is important to me.
Yes, sir.
And so community, I feel like that's part of why I do what I do with the community, moving the community for generations, not just thinking about me, not just thinking about my kids, not just thinking about their kids, it's the generations to come. So what do I want to say about it? So with that being said, make sure that you're putting family first, that you're not embarrassing your family. Think about that. Think about your actions. Everything you do don't just affect you. It affects your family, your legacy. And just think about it. When it's all said and done, what do you want to be remembered by? Who really matters when it's all said and done? Yeah. And so that's what you need to be thinking about on a regular basis to help you keep on that moral compass and to help you want to stay healthy and be there for them or whatnot. So yeah, it would be one, health is wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Two, that moral compass, connection to God. Three would be family, because it equals generational wealth. So those would be my three.
That's what I'm talking about. That's some fire right there, man. What? Mm-hmm. And then, man, after that, our next closing segment is what are 3 questions on your part? Any questions that you have at all, you may ask me, and I will answer it 100% completely honestly.
Okay. Okay. I think when did you realize your purpose?
I would say
hold on. First, what is your purpose? And then the follow-up question is, when did you realize?
Okay. What is my purpose and when did I realize it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I believe that my purpose is my spiritual gifts right now aligned to be basically a shepherd, exhortation, and pretty much, I forget what the last one was, like a teacher.
Okay.
So I learned about what exactly my spiritual gifts were once I started attending a church. And so looking at that now and then looking at my experience, I'm the second oldest of 8 total siblings.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people would say I'm the first oldest as far as taking responsibility for what's going on in their life and whatnot. So from that place, I've always kind of been in this thing where I was leading my younger siblings, living my life in a way that was meant to be an example, and then kind of being like the person where when I am moving in a certain direction, people are looking at how I'm moving and saying like, oh, he's doing this certain thing, so maybe we should look at it. Maybe we should pay some attention to it, and kind of understanding that. And so I think all of that, between that, those being my spiritual gifts and then just my regular gifts, as we were discussing before the show, people say my voice is something good there. So if I have the gift of exhortation and teaching and shepherding people, and I have a speaking voice, this shows me in some way I should be talking in a public manner where I'm guiding people in some direction. So that's where I really learned, like, okay, well, I've been ignoring this podcast thing for a while. So now, you know what? This has to be in some way my thing. And I don't know how I'm going to necessarily grow it. I've had ideas and whatnot, but things change so quickly on the online space. So that is what it is. And then what was the second portion of that?
I said, how did you realize? You touched on it a little bit. You said church, but I've been to multiple churches. Was it a certain church, a certain pastor? Was it a certain, like, what happened when you went to church? What was that feeling that they overcame that you're like, oh, this is what I need to be doing?
Right. So it actually wasn't in the church that I decided it was time to pull the trigger on it. That's where I learned about it in a class where they taught us how we could identify it. Now, once I actually decided it's time to pull the trigger on it, was from me being in situations where I failed in major ways and I failed a long-term relationship. And so from the failing of that, I realized that there were so many guys that were becoming as confused as I was, and they needed guidance. And there were people out there, but they were always either not referencing God and his teaching of how to handle things, or they were manipulating it towards their benefit. And I saw that, and I had to do so much work to piece together what was the truth from both the secular point, what are they getting right, versus what is the church people getting right, and what are the church people getting wrong that's actually weakening masculinity nowadays versus what are the secular people getting wrong and right. And so being able to create that platform where that can be fully explored and where I've been blessed that I've had on like a lot of biblical men, not even that, even in the business setting, I haven't necessarily only looked for it, but I've just naturally met up with those kinds of people. And I've only had a few secular guests on, and I can only think of one that was like on the opposite end where they weren't even absolutely against it, but they were just like, how do you know? You know, they just questioned it. So once I figured out that that was a place where men didn't have a lot of guidance, and I saw that I had the experience for one, and then I had the talents to kind of teach that, then it was just a matter of pulling the triggers on certain things and deciding where do I want to get my resources from and how am I going to continue to develop this to serve that purpose and make sure that I'm doing it in the way that God wants me to do it primarily.
I love it. Kudos to that, man. For
Hey,
real.
appreciate it, my man.
love it.
Appreciate it.
I love it. Because I think what you're doing is very important. I feel like more men than not are misguided at these times. And I think with your guidance, you can help get people to their purpose quicker. And I think as men, we all need to find our purpose.
Absolutely.
I think we're lost if we don't know our purpose. And I think what you're doing is helping guide men to their purpose. So I commend you for that. Like, kudos to you, man, for real.
Hey, much appreciated, brother. You humble me.
For real.
And did you have any last question at all?
I didn't have a last question, but I'm looking at time. I was like, I got a couple of things. I'm like, we were having so much of a good conversation. It was things that I didn't even touch on.
Okay.
Some things that I wanted to do. For one, I mentioned that I'm an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have a what I call a lifestyle brand called the Fatherhood Way. You can look it up at thefatherhoodway.com.
And real quick, let me go ahead and pull up for you guys an image that the man sent me right here. So this is an image of the Fatherhood Way, one of the shirts. Look at the man looking all clean. Beard is clean, side look, you know.
Yeah, you gotta know how to turn it on and off.
Right,
you know?
right.
But yeah, definitely that's one of my best-selling shirts. Of course, you read it says fatherhood is the best hood, and I kind of just want to change that narrative of that absent father, make fatherhood cool again. I think fathers, we kind of get I won't say a bad rap, but it's like we kind of get thrown under the rug. Like it's not enough respect and appreciation for what we're doing out here. And I just want to tell all the fathers out there that I appreciate you, your kids appreciate you, and if nobody's telling you you're doing a great job, keep it up. And so with that being said, I have the Fatherhood Way lifestyle brand, and I have that brand to help generate funds for my nonprofit, which is called Navigate. My nonprofit is Navigate. It's a youth mentorship program that I like to say is disguised as a youth mentorship program because it's not only about helping the kids, it's also about helping the parents. But I feel that you start with the low-hanging fruit, which are the kids.
Absolutely.
Because they're more impressionable. But once you build that relationship and that rapport with them, the parents will have some trust in you because they know that you have the best interests of their kids. Once I have the best interest, once I have their parents buy-in, now how can I help you? How can I connect you to those resources that are gonna help better your future?
Absolutely.
So, like I said, everything I talk about, you can see it comes back full circle. The fatherhood way, I didn't have a father figure growing up, so that's very important to me. Being a masculine man, a strong male role model, being something that the kids in this upcoming generation couldn't look up to. And then, like I said, not also just being something, also putting in that work with my nonprofit. Like I said, I do things. I have a module set up where we work with anything from just trying to build future leaders. But I've been doing workshops lately where I've been doing, one of the main things is dress etiquette. So like you see me now, I'm real spiffy.
Yes, sir. Look at the man, a walking example.
Appreciate that. I believe on being able to turn it on and turn it off. So in my personal life, I can have on a Fatherhood Way shirt and some Nike shorts. But when I step out into the world to garner that automatic respect, that sir, As soon as you see this tie, when you see this suit, you're gonna treat me differently. And that's what I try to teach some of our young men out here, just because you're being stereotyped and things just off your look. So when someone just sees you, they're already judging you. And if you can do anything to change that, that's when I want to help that build that foundation. But like I said, it does a lot more than that. We're building future leaders. But I just wanted to touch on those things because these are things that are very dear to me. With what I'm doing, of course, in my profession as a program manager at UCF, I have things. I have my my nonprofit and my LLC going on the side. Again, the Fatherhood Way proceeds. Percentage of the proceeds go to Navigate to help me fund, do things like buy the shirts, the ties, and put on things for the kids. And beyond that, going back to what I said, being community based. If you don't see me doing that, I'm volunteering somewhere, or I'm with my girls. I'm a girl dad. But
oh man,
I meant to. I was in a rush. That was coming from a meeting.
Okay.
But I owe you some Fatherhood Way gear, man. I want to make sure.
What?
Yeah. I want to make sure. I want to make sure you're looking nice and spiffy with it or
snap.
whatnot. So I definitely want to definitely got you on that.
Hey,
remind me.
That would bless me greatly, man.
Remind me. I definitely got some Fatherhood Way gear for you. I was supposed to bring, but running in between the meetings, I'm like,
I know how it goes, man.
But I'm a man of my word, so hold me to it. Hold me to it.
Got you. Real quick, just for my audience knows, I say this all the time, man. You said you're a girl dad.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my wife all the time, if our first child is a girl, we're setting her up for adoption.
Well, I tell you, you manifesting the girl when you do that, man. Because all my life growing up, I said I'm gonna have me 3 boys, and right now I'm 2 girls up, and But I think God got a boy for me though.
Gotta be, man.
If not, if it's another girl, then it's another girl. But I think he got a boy hanging in there for me somewhere, and I think a little junior that's gonna pop out. But I just I used to hear people say that all the time. I just wish for a healthy child. I just that's gonna be my advice, because I'm like, I know it's cap. I know it's cap. Like I know it's cap. It's definitely cap. But words are very powerful.
Yeah.
And God, what a lot of people don't realize is you'll ask God for something and you'll think, oh, he's just gonna give it right to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But no, he kind of puts you in a situation that makes you understand whatever you're trying to understand better. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, be careful what you ask for now, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, you want a boy? Let me give you a girl first, because you're going to need patience or whatnot. And so let me give you a girl, and then we might come around with that boy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, be careful how you say it, but...
Well, see, that's why I'm trying to have it where in my heart of hearts, I truly mean that. So that way God and me are on the same page, and he's like, oh, damn, he really would do this. Oh, shoot, let me not.
Hey, listen. Hey, wife, I do not agree with what he's saying over here. He's on his own. God, I do not agree with him right now. Like, listen, let's go put her up for adoption. I might come adopt her then. All right? How about that? I might come and adopt her.
My wife watches all the shows, but she's a little behind right now, so it'll be a couple weeks till she gets to this episode. And when it happens, I already know.
You're going to be sitting there, she's going to let out a screech, and you're going to be like, oh, yep. She's watched it or whatnot. But wife, I don't agree with her. Okay, I'm setting him up early with his Fatherhood Way gear. We're getting him prepared or whatnot. And we just want a healthy one. But if y'all do give him up for adoption, consider me.
Oh man! So, and that is a question I have for you, right? So, you came from a spot where your mom, she was like building you up in all this way, but And that's kind of, it's kind of a two-parter. One, what was your masculine influence that helped? I mean, because you are very well put together in this whatnot. So where did your masculine influence come from? And then two, how does your experience and your perspective now shape how you will raise up? I mean, how you are raising up your children?
Sure. So what I can say, my mom didn't make me masculine, but she didn't make me feminine. So my mom, it might sound bad, but I don't remember my mom telling me she loved me until I was an adult.
Oh,
so she was very much like stoic. She was very stoic. I didn't realize she was so nice until we were adults. Like I always tell them, like, you didn't smile this much. You didn't, but I realized it was one lady raising 7 kids, and she just put on her game face every day. She worked so much, things like that. But beyond that, as you remember, I said she has 5 boys and only 2 girls. So my sisters are more tomboyish because of that, because it's just boys around. Outside of that, I have a bunch of step brothers. I have another sister on my dad's side, but I have 2 brothers and a step brother over there or whatnot. Like, so wherever my sister from my mom on her side, she has like 5 brothers, 6 brothers, and 3 sisters over there. So so it's always more boys around, and so and I like to think my oldest brother too, being that I don't have a father figure, I think I looked up to him a lot as well. And so I don't know, I've always been a man's man. I've always been like a fighter. Growing up, I had a little voice, so they used to call me Mike Tyson or whatnot, because they're like, oh, he's a little scrappy, he'll fight, So I don't know. It's just kind of it's just that the masculineness has always kind of been there. What was the last part of that question that you asked?
And then
what shaped me to?
Yes.
So of course, what we talk about experience, and I believe trauma can either make a hero or make a villain. In my case, it made a hero, because with me not having a father, it's like I see how it affected me, so I'm not gonna do that to them.
Right.
Rather than me allowing to say, "Oh, I didn't have a father, so I don't need to be there for my kids." No, it's like, no, he wasn't here for me, and it stirred me off in the wrong ways and took me longer to reach my destination. So with my guidance, my leadership, my protection, I can help my girls stay on point and get to wherever they need to be. So I'm a girl. When I say I'm a girl dad, one's in gymnastics, one's in cheerleading.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, I was at cheerleading competition. Weekend before that, gymnastics competition. Glad they were both of those were just state. So competition season is over for us. They'll be rolling back around in November though. But year round, like when I leave here, I got probably a little time to get lunch, and then I gotta go pick up my daughter because we're going to gymnastics practice. So very, very much involved in my kids' life. Very, very like super. Just a month ago, one had competition in Jacksonville, one had competition in Rhode Island. Dang. So I drove up to Jacksonville, went to competition. Luckily, the competition in Rhode Island was a 2-day competition, the cheerleading competition. So I went to the airport in Jacksonville and flew up to Rhode Island that night so I can catch the competition there. So, like I said, very much they're going to see me, because I know when I grew up and I was in my extracurricular sports and things like that, no dad, and my mom wasn't there because she had to work to be paying the bills.
Yeah.
She wanted to be there, but she couldn't be there. I didn't know my dad. I know my dad now. He actually, funny story, have you ever seen the movie Antoine Fisher?
Yeah.
And his dad stayed across the street. Something similar to that, where he's just up the street. Maybe if I make it on for another episode, we could talk about that. Yeah, maybe.
You lie.
Yeah, no, true story.
What?
Scouts honor, whatnot. But maybe if I make it back on for another podcast, we could dive in a little bit today.
Hey, y'all, leave in the comments that we want this man back. All right.
Most definitely.
Well, shoot, let's go ahead and get you on your way, my man, so you can be with the daughter. So at this time, what is something that you would like to either confess here or something that you could use encouragement on, or something that you just want to give a praise about, something that myself and the audience can come around you in prayer about?
With me, So, believe it or not, it may sound like I got it all together. I'm wearing a lot of hats and doing things, but when you're wearing a lot of hats, sometimes it gets cloudy and you need to reset. Excuse me. So right now, I need some guidance and making sure that I'm staying on the right path, ownership, accountability for what I'm doing, and taking the proper next steps to get where I need to be. So, yeah, guidance, I think, is something that, I feel like we're never perfect. We're always working on ourselves, and even when you're good at something, sometimes you can come back to it and tweak it and make it a little better. And I feel like sometimes when you got a lot of things going on, you can get overwhelmed, unmotivated, and then you kind of stop.
Yeah.
And so I feel like with the right guidance and direction, it'll keep me on that right path and executing what I need to execute.
I love the humility in that, man, because I'm pretty sure a lot of my viewers watching, they're like, this guy seems to have it all together. And to hear you say that is like, what, him?
Oh, most definitely. I'm only a human. I like I said, my moral compass is God, so follow him. But sometimes, like, dang, that cloud in the way, God. I need to see them sun rays a little bit more. Oh, there go that ray. Oh, that's what you're telling me to do or whatnot. So sometimes, I believe in being humble.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say humble, but I believe in having humility and being able to undress yourself, tell people about you, your experience. As I was telling you last night, your past doesn't define you, it refines you to become the man that you're supposed to be. And so I love just talking about how I was growing up, poor, fighting, knucklehead, but because I feel like it comes back full circle, then you see, look how it turned him into this man. So, yeah.
All right, folks. So at this time, let's go ahead and say a prayer to close things out for our man Brad here. Oh, my speaker decided it was done. All right, here we go. Dear Lord and Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time that we were all able to come together to be able to have this conversation. Thank you for allowing for Brad and Ashley to make it safely here, that despite so many things going on, that we were able to put this thing together and have it go through with what I think was amazing efficiency, covering a host of topics and being very thorough in many of them. And dear God, I just pray that as Brad and Ashley continue on their days, I pray that you would just continue to shine the rays of sun on their days. And Lord, I want to lift up Brad as he goes about just continuing to walk in the purposes that you have allowed him to identify. And I want to pray for his spirit, Lord, that even as the mightiest warriors that pick up that call that you have, God, we know that there can be times where things may be happening so quickly, and there's just so much momentum, so much go, go, go. And then suddenly we can find ourselves handling 5, 6, 7 things all at once. And either we can find ourselves overwhelmed, we can find ourselves with our eyes taken off of you, we can find ourselves prioritizing certain things that we shouldn't be prioritizing. And so, dear Lord, I just pray that you would give Brad just these moments of calm in between, these times of peace where he can just quiet every responsibility and he can just spend that time to be with you, Lord, to be with you, to be with those that he feels poured into by, and that you would just be able to guide him, whether it's through your word or whether it's through someone that is a mentor or a figure that he feels safe and comfortable and vulnerable around, Lord, that he's able to go to and they can just give him love and wisdom that he can take in order to fill his cup up, Lord. We pray that he would continue to strive in everything that he's doing, and that he would always recognize who is the master of the universe in control of this, and know that as he continues in that path, you are guiding the way, and you are just giving him opportunities to be able to develop himself and to be able to continue to crush any obstacle that may come against him, Lord. We know that you give us things to struggle through so that we may grow, and we thank you for these opportunities because we wouldn't be the men that we are today without them. And we just pray that Brad can just be lit on fire with your Holy Spirit as he continues forward, charging at his missions, and that your spirit of peace will be upon him well. Dear Lord, we also want to pray for the audience. We pray that they have been blessed in everything that they have watched today, that they have been able to learn something, that they've been inspired by this awesome testimony and this amazing story of how this man came from a large family, low income, fighting in school, and how he's now just leading an entire community out and bringing awareness to it, Lord. We pray that they've been blessed by this and that they can also go forward and just take one step in front of the other, making changes in their lives and then in the lives of their communities, God. We thank you, Lord, for just giving us everything that you have given us, and we pray that we may keep a humble heart, all of us, and that we can just be soldiers of you first and then be representatives of you that can make you proud, God. Thank you for everything you do to bless each and every single one of us. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
My man.
Thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed this, for real, man.
Same here.
Thoroughly enjoyed this. As I was telling you, I know a lot of other gentlemen like me that I'm hoping to introduce you to, just because I believe in what you're doing. Audience, I hope that y'all got something from me. I hope that I was able to drop some gems on you. And like I said, if you see me in the community, speak to me. I'm approachable or whatnot. And like I said, again, I just want to thank you for having me here. And I thoroughly enjoyed this show. I appreciate the opportunity to teach people about what I'm doing. And like I said, even have a moment to try to inspire anybody in any way that I could through community service, community work, because I'm community based. So thank you, man.
Hey, man, thank you so much. Everything going on, man, to spend 2 hours here in this thing, man. And I know this room is hot. You got on a 3-piece right now. I know you sweating right now.
Hey, I'm
what?
from Florida, man. I'm used to this, man.
Fair.
Florida boy, man.
Hey, well, audience, y'all enjoy this. I hope this was a good video to start your week out on. I think it was a great video. So make sure to book in this one. This is one you're going to want to watch back, y'all. So y'all be blessed, and we will see you next time on the Inspired Challenge podcast. Take care, everybody.
All right.
And complete.
That was amazing, man.